Welcome to the District 21 Irish Fiddle Fest.
It gives me great pleasure to introduce the very first speaker. So from Cooper Middle School, we have Alex. Alex, take it away.
Welcome to the District 21 Online Irish Fiddle Festival with special guest Katie Grennan. This evening will feature orchestra students from Cooper, Holmes, and London middle schools. We will be performing Irish and Celtic tunes and sharing more about the history and musical traditions of Ireland.
Go ahead, Maria from London.
We would like to introduce you to our special guest, Miss Katie Grennan. Miss Grennan is the fiddle player from the Irish band Gaelic Storm. She performs internationally and teaches Irish fiddle and Highland dancing in Chicago. Thank you, Miss Grennan, for teaching us more about Irish music in our online workshop yesterday. And thank you for joining us this evening.
And next, I would like to introduce Aaliyah from Holmes Middle School.
Our first tune tonight is The Rakes of Mallow. It is a standard or well-known tune among Irish fiddle players. It first appeared in tune collections before 1750 and continues to be heard today as the fight song for the University of Notre Dame Fighting Irish football team. Please help us welcome Holmes Middle School playing The Rakes of
That sounded excellent. Thank you so much for having me, everyone. My name is Katie Grennan, and thank you so much for the warm welcome. It's so nice to be here with you all tonight. I want to just give a quick thank you to Lauren, Kate, and Heidi for asking me to do this with all of you students. It's been so fun to prepare these tunes with you guys, hear everyone playing them yesterday. We had so much fun throughout the school day, and I just think that it's amazing that we're able to do this even virtually, to feel connected all together and learning something new. So thank you, students, and thank you, teachers, and thank you, parents, for supporting this as well. I'm going to play for you guys the Kerry Reel, but it also goes by another name called the Green Fields of Ross Bay. And as with a lot of Irish tunes, they have many names. So this one has two names. If you look in some sources, it has a couple other ones. Part of the reason for that is no one really knows who wrote a lot of the Irish tunes. They've been passed down from generation to generation. So this is a tune that you would hear quite often in Ireland. You'd also hear it in places in North America as well as Europe, and really anywhere there's Irish music being played. This is a pretty popular tune. So it's in the same time signature as the tune that was just played, The Rakes of Mallow. It's in 4/4 and it's considered a reel. So I hope you guys enjoy it. awesome students playing along, which is so cool. So hopefully they're playing by ear, which is something that we talked about yesterday. So love that.
I'd like to present to you Andrew Edson from Cooper, who will be introducing our next song for us this evening.
The Skyboat song tells a famous story in Scottish history. It describes the escape of Prince Charlie after his army of Scottish Highlanders was defeated by the British in 1746. Just as a maid, he escaped to the Isle of Skye in a small boat. The event was later turned into a poem and then set to an old Scottish air or melody.
Go ahead, Sharon from London.
The Irish band Gaelic Storm was featured playing our next song in the movie Titanic. Gaelic Storm became known all over the world when the movie was released in 1998. Katie was invited to join the band in 2017. Please join along with London Middle School as they play Joan Rice Polka.
That was lovely playing. So fun to hear that tune played by students. I'm used to hearing that played by my band. I always laugh when people ask if I was the fiddle player in the band when the movie came out, because I was actually younger than most of these students when the movie was released. So no, I was not in the movie, but yes, I love playing that tune set because it's become pretty iconic thanks to that dance scene that was in the movie. So polkas are really fun dance tunes. They're not unique just to Ireland. They've been danced to in different cultures all over the world. So I'm going to play a tune that I wrote. It's kind of Irish sounding, but has almost a different flair to it. So it could be really, really anything, but I hope you guys like it. It's the key of F major, and it's the only polka I've ever written. So hope you guys like it. You. I'm getting the thumbs up from Sharon, which means I did an okay job. Thanks, Sharon.
Next, I would like to introduce Cy from Holmes to read our next slide. Go ahead, Cy.
It is said that the well-known Irish poet and singer Thomas More wrote a lovely poem, The Minstrel Boy, in memory of friends lost in the Irish Rebellion in 1798. The poem describes a brave minstrel who dies in battle, and is set to an old Irish tune known as the Maureen. It has since become very popular both in Ireland and the United States. Please allow me to introduce the Frank Family Trio from Holmes and Wynn.
Great job, home students. That was lovely. Next, we have Nathan sharing about The Wind That Shakes the Barley.
The Wind That Shakes the Barley is considered to be an Irish Yeeler dance, though it is probably of Scottish origin. The tune was played in the mid-1800s, and ever since it has been a favorite wherever Celtic music is popular.
We would like to introduce our next group of London students. Zoe Petty is starting off the beginning of the tune, and then the Balmaceda family will be leading the second half of the tune.
Very nice job, London Middle School students. Excellent. We're going to move on to our final tune here that we're going to have presenting. Michelle Deshtitsa is going to join us from Cooper to tell us about this song.
Our last tune performed by students this evening is a jig called the Irish Washerwoman. The jig is one of the oldest folk dances that has survived to our day. The Irish Washerwoman dates back to the early 1600s and later became popular throughout the British Isles, the United States, Australia, and anywhere else the Irish have taken their music. Please welcome the Hong family from Cooper, Longville, and BG.
We would love to be able to ask some questions to Katie. And we're going to start off with a question from Sherry Moe at Holmes Middle School. Sherry, why don't you go ahead and ask your question?
How old were you when you started playing your instrument, and do you play any other instruments along with violin?
So that is a great question. I was about 4 years old when I started playing classical violin. I started learning at a local church near me growing up in Pittsburgh. And I played classical all throughout growing up in middle school, much like yourselves, as well as in high school. And then it wasn't until I was a little bit later that I started really getting into fiddle music, which is obviously on the same instrument. It's just played a different way, as you guys have all found out over the last month or so. I do also play, I just grabbed my tin whistle here. I started playing that when I was young as well, around 10 years old. And it's very similar to a recorder. So I don't know if anyone's played a recorder in school, but it's basically the same sort of instrument, just has a slightly different sound to it. And then since the pandemic started, I found myself playing a banjo, which is something I never expected would happen. And it just it literally fell into my lap and I started playing it. And I wouldn't say I play it well, but I do like playing it. It's kind of fun. It's very similar to the violin. The fingering is exactly the same. It's just a bigger instrument.
Go ahead, it's Sal from London.
How did you become interested in learning Irish music?
I really fell in love with Irish music because I was an Irish dancer. So I started dancing when I was about 8 years old. My dad is actually from Ireland, his whole side of the family. Most of them still live over there. And I just remember my first dance class just feeling so energized from the beats and the melodies, and just loving how the dance and what I was doing with my feet interacted with the music. And I've just loved it ever since. So I love sharing it with other people. So I just can't believe that here I am playing music with you guys. It says there's 136 people on the call, and I know some people have multiple people on the screen. So the great thing about Irish music is that it's really meant to be shared and meant to be a social activity. So I think what's kept me involved in Irish music ever since has been all the friendships and the wonderful people that I've met through Irish music. It's meant to be played with other people. So sitting around with your friends, hopefully you guys, now that you all know the same tunes, maybe you could get together even this summer in person and start to play some of these tunes together. you ever want to find me, let me know. I'm playing in the Chicago area quite a lot. So I play in open sessions, and we always welcome young musicians who'd like to test out their tunes to come sit in with us. So.
And our final question is from Ethmika.
What is your favorite song that you perform with Gaelic Storm?
I have so many songs that I like to perform with Gaelic Storm. There's one called The Beggar Man that was a traditional folk song that they turned into a more modern. They added some, like, they call it rap, but it's not really rap. It's just really fast talking by our lead singer with a really fun melody underneath it. I grew up like really loving Gaelic Storm, so it was fun for me to join the band and be playing the very same songs that I grew up listening to on stage with them. It was really surreal for the first couple of months, for sure. I love the tune sets too. So most of what I do as a fiddle player in a band such as this is playing along to songs. So playing backing chords, playing little riffs in between the choruses and in between everything that they're singing about. But I really love when we break into tune sets, which is only playing tunes and there's no singing at all. So that's my favorite part, but I like playing along to the songs as well. Speaking of, I guess we're on to our next slide.
Before I introduce our last speaker, I just want to congratulate each and every middle school musician. You all sounded wonderful tonight. I see you all playing along at home. Just congratulations on preparing yourselves for this Irish Fiddle Fest. We're all so very proud of you. Our final speaker tonight is Sophia from Holmes. Sophia, go ahead.
Donnybrook Fair and The Joy of My Life will be the last set of jigs performed by Miss Grennan tonight. Thank you again, Miss Grennan, for teaching us more about Irish music and sharing your talents with us this evening. Thank you also to our parents, schools, administrators, and the Board of Education for supporting us as we continue to learn our instruments this school year. Also, happy Mother's Day to our District 21 mothers.
Well, I just want to say thank you again to Heidi, to Kate, and to Lauren, and the rest of the school district for supporting a non-traditional type of music instruction in the classroom. I think this is so cool and so different that everyone's had a chance to do this together and grow together as musicians and as students. And it's been a real pleasure meeting all of you and working with you. So thank you again for this opportunity to meet you and hear everything that you've been working on. So as mentioned, the final tune I'm going to play is called Donnybrook Fair / The Joy of My Life, because as I mentioned, a lot of Irish tunes have two different names, and depending on who you meet and where they learned it from, they'll call it a different name. This is one of the tunes that we always play as an encore on stage with Gaelic Storm. So I thought it would be a nice way to conclude this segment of the evening. So hope you guys enjoy this. I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your evening, and happy Mother's Day again.
Well, thank you so much for attending, everyone. And I think we should give a great round of applause for all of our students and Ms. Grennan for joining us. And if you're not unmuted, the sign language for applause is waving your hands like this. So everybody, yay! Thank you so much.